So welcome back. I can see only 16 participants until now. So others kindly log in as early as possible, and in random in between attendance will be taken and a screenshot of the students who are there in the Zoom class as well. See that you be regularly listening and attending the classes. Don't be idle anywhere. Even attendance is mandatory. Until the classes commence, we have to keep the record of the students who are attending the online classes as well. So welcome back to the class again. We missed one class in between due to the holidays anyway. So let us start up with the remaining part of a class related to gear measurements. So what we were doing in the last class, so we were dealing with respect to the terminology of gear, tooth, and what do you mean by gear, why we use gear, the types of gear, how do you inspect the gear, and also how we do measure the gear. And along with that we were dealing related to measurement of the tooth thickness, right? So by different methods we had dealt in the last class related to the chord method as well as vernier tooth gear caliper. So how do we measure the thickness and the depth of the given tooth? So all those stuffs we were dealing in the last class. So now we have to deal related to measurement of the tooth thickness by using base tangent method. So this base tangent method overcomes the limitations which were associated with the vernier tooth caliper. So what were the limitations associated with vernier tooth caliper? Can anyone tell me now? You had done that practically also. So what was the error associated and what were the limitations? What you came across while measuring the gear tooth thickness using vernier caliper? Anyone here in the class? You have done it practically also. So what were the errors you felt are more by using vernier tooth caliper, vernier gear tooth caliper? Because here we have to use two type of vernier scales, right? The horizontal and the vertical one for the depth and the thickness, what we have to measure. So what kind of limitations we had in gear tooth vernier caliper? You have to speak up. You have done that experimentally also. What were the limitations? I explained you in the class also, in the previous class. Can anyone tell me now what were the limitations associated with? You have to speak out. It is not like just me explaining and you people will be listening. It should be an interactive session also. Right? We dealt with the limitations of the gear tooth. What were it? Since wear will come into picture slightly because you have two jaws where you have to move and fix with respect to the depth and the thickness what we need. And also since the least count of the vernier caliper is restricted to particular value of 0.002, the accuracy is not to the maximum. But the advantage is it is very simple and it is inexpensive. So in order to, and it has to be calibrated every time regularly. So in order to overcome the drawbacks associated with the vernier gear tooth caliper, so we have the next method to measure our tooth thickness by using base tangent method. So this helps in overcoming the limitations what we had in case of our gear tooth vernier caliper. Everyone, please write your name
Hey,
and
voice is
USN.
breaking, man.
Hello, am I audible now? Everyone, please write your name in the USN, a name and USN number in the chat room. So next we have to deal with the base tangent method. So this helps in overcoming the limitations I told you. So in this method, we are not measuring a single teeth. So we will measure around the number of teeth in a span. So you can see here, this is an instrument used. Sorry, it got disconnected. Please keep the record of your name in the USN number in the chat room. Okay, so this is the equipment which has been used in order to measure a span of gate teeth here. So the instrument name is been mentioned as David Braun base tangent comparator. David Braun is the person who invented this instrument, and hence it is against his name, which is called as base tangent comparator, against the name who identified. So what happens here exactly? The span of the teeth which has to be measured will be fixed. It is not that you are focusing on a single teeth. Okay, so this helps in obtaining an improved precise and accurate value for the gate thickness. And as a result, we use Brown base tangent comparator, or it is also called just as an base tangent comparator. So here what we do is you will be having the anvils. So you have the moving anvil and the fixed anvil. So this is the moving anvil. What we do is we will adjust this moving anvil depending upon the span of the width what we need to measure about. Okay, so but this fixed, sorry, it got disconnected. So the fixed anvil will be locked with the help of the locking ring what we have over here. Okay, so this is the movable anvil. So this will be adjusted with respect to the span of the flange we need. So the length or the flange what we need to measure will be calculated from the gear data handbook. So based on that dimension, this will be fixed. So this distance will be calculated and it will be replaced by the slip gauges. So then you will identify the width what we need to measure. After identifying the width, this slip gauges will be removed and that distance will be replaced by the teeth which has to be measured. Okay, so then you will get the reading from the micrometer over here. So this is the procedure which is being used. Okay, so if they ask you the procedure, you have to write how the sketch looks like, what is the limitation associated with it, how the anvils are fixed, and how the distance are being calculated. Okay, so how it is being replaced in the slip gauge to measure, and again that reading will be taken by the base tangent comparator as shown in the figure with the help of the micrometer. Okay, so this is the procedure. So if they ask you, you please tell me it is measured by the person David, and hence the name David Braun tangent comparator. So it is also works like a comparator because you are comparing a standard with respect of an unknown dimension of the teeth, and hence first you will adjust with the slip gauge, later you will replace with the gear whose tooth thickness have to be checked. So the reading directly will be given by the base tangent comparator. Okay, so this is the procedure. So here, in order to identify this distance is identified by a theoretical mathematical formula. So that it has to be derived. You have to show the sketch for a single tooth and identify how you get the width of the tooth thickness which has to. Okay, it is disconnecting in between. I'm sorry. So this formula has to be calculated. So before going for the calculation, just go through the advantages. The advantage is it overcomes all the drawbacks associated with the vernier caliper. So this measured values of the base tangent is less than compared with the calculated value. So what do you mean by this? The difference between the calculated value and the measured value gives the error in tooth thickness. So you will be able to determine the deviation what you get between the actual value and the measured value. You will be able to come to know the variations what you get in the tooth thickness. And thirdly, the number of teeth over which the measurement is to be made for particular gear is selected from the gear handbook. So gear handbook provides you the number of teeth to be measured, and that is based on this theoretical formula which has been derived. You are not blindly selecting any number of teeth what you are going to measure. So with the help of the gear data handbook, similarly to the design data handbook, we do have a gear data handbook. I hope you use those in the com related to the gear design, like different type of gears you design, the spiral gear, the bevel gear, or whatever. So in that you use the gear handbook, in which it my voice is audible now? Hello? Kindly reply.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. So we were dealing about the advantages associated with the base tangent method. So we determine the depth, the width of the thickness to be measured in between the gears with the help of data handbook of the gear, and all the errors or the deviations which were coming across related to the vernier tooth caliper will be overruled here, because you'll be getting a better result compared to the vernier gear tooth, and the measured value will be compared with that of the standard, and any deviation you come across will be shown as a percentage of the error or the deviations you are getting from the standard to that of the measured thickness. So this is about the advantages associated with our base tangent method. So here you can see now, so this is measurement of the breadth in between the three tooth which has been shown, for example. So here the principal एक glare होता है. Hello. Hello, am I audible? So the principle behind the base tangent is this way. This principle consists of measuring the distance between the flanks of which are lying together. So this provides an accurate indication about the tooth thickness and requires a precise caliper or a micrometer. So when you fix in between the two anvil and the fixed anvil, so it will just need an help of an micrometer or an precise caliper. So here you have an micrometer. So in place of micrometer, you can even use an precise caliper or an micrometer. So it helps to choose a number of teeth which has to be measured. So it has to be approximately the pitch circle of the gear what you have to clamp. So you have the base circle over here, right? So the base circle over here, and then the axis what you have is of the pitch circle. So it will be clamped in between the tooths which has to be measured associated with the pitch circle accurately, so that you get the required involute of the profile of the gear. So we'll go with the involute profile in the next stage. So now we are focusing only one tooth, suppose. So this is the one edge of the tooth and this is the other edge of the tooth, right? So now we can see the tooth with an distance what we have to measure the width as A and B. So here you can see you have three tooths, 1, 2, 3. So the horizontal line which is connecting all the three here is measured as from A to C. So that distance has been termed to be as A to C. So when the gear rotates either clockwise or the anti-clockwise, you have the movement of the tooth, right? So this A to C, which is now in horizontal position with respect to our base circle of the gear, it can move from A1 to C1 or it can move from A to C2. So these are the involute profiles of the gear, how it moves either towards the clock or the anti-clockwise with respect to the mating gear. Similarly, it can also sweep here. Okay, so this is a movement from A1 to C1 and A2 to C2. Due to this, you will be having the sweeping of the tooth from C2 to C, from C to C1. Similarly, you will be having the sweeping of the gear from A1 to A and from A to A2. Okay, from A to A suffix 2. So this measurement is calculated with respect to the formula of the thickness of the tooth W, so which will be equal to the span of the tooth thickness AC, that will also be equal to the sweep in between A1 to C1 and A2 to C2, and hence this is associated with the arc what we get from A to B. So this is our one edge of the tooth A, this is the other edge of the tooth B. So this arc A to B is associated with the involute profile of the tooth from A1 to C1 and from A to C2 due to the sweep of the tooth from C to C2, C to C1, again from A to A1 to A to A2. Okay, so this is due to the movement of the gear tooth with respect to the mating tooth. So in order to calculate this, we have an formula which measures the width of the gear tooth with respect to the distance of the flange what we have to measure, and this distance of the flange will provide you the distance from which gear tooth to which it has to be measured from the gear tooth data handbook. Along with that, we have the formula to measure the value where W suffix k will be equal to m times of cos alpha. This we are going to derive into k, and this is in the gear data handbook also, where wk will be the distance between the flanges of the instrument. It will be in terms of mm. So this is a distance between the flange. So this will be one flange and the other flange. In between you have to measure the number of teeth thickness. That will be finally calculated. Okay, so m will be the module of the gear and alpha is a pressure angle. What I have told, it is an angle associated with the line of action perpendicular to the mating gear. That angle will provide you the pressure angle. Similarly, k will be the number of teeth between the flanges, how much you are having the number of teeth between the flanges, and z will be equal to the number of teeth of the gear to be checked. Okay, so overall k will be associated only the number of teeth you are taking between one flange, and z is the overall number of teeth what you have in the gear which has to be checked. So that is the difference between the term k and z. So now before going to the actual calculation, before going to the actual calculation, you can see that the theoretical value of Wk can be directly measured with respect to the pressure angles. Usually the gear will be associated with the pressure angle of 14 degree 30 seconds or 20 degree. So in that, related to the pressure angle, these values are given in the gear data handbook directly. So if it is a gear of pressure angle 14 degree 30 minutes, all the values related to our equation to measure the width can be taken. That's what M, alpha, K, Z, all the values you can measure over here directly. Okay. So now we'll come for the actual calculation. So here we are dealing related to only one gear tooth. Okay, so here you can see this is the one gear tooth what we are referring. So this is a base circle. Every gear will be having a base circle. I've showed you in the beginning. Then you will be having the pitch circle. Then you will be having the outer diameter of the gear. So this is associated with our base circle, and this is the associated with the pitch circle. So above the pitch you will be having the face, and below the pitch you will be having the flank part. So now the base tangent length will be given by the arc AB plus arc BC. Why it is associated with arc AB and BC? Because this AB distance I have shown here also. So this AB will provide us the entire distance between the tooth AC, and AB will be half of it. Okay, so here we are associating the entire tooth as AB. Okay, so one single tooth we are focusing. That was for the 2 to 3 tooths. So here we are focusing on a single tooth. So we are measuring this distance as A and B. So the base tangent length will be equal to the arc AB plus the involute profile what we get through the arc BC due to the movement of the teeth either clockwise or anti-clockwise, and hence we have to take the distance arc AB plus the involute profile movement of that gear. Okay, so this will be the concept what we have to use. Apart from that, you should be knowing the number of base pitches. So number of base pitches is nothing but the number of teeth which has to be measured in actual, what we term to be as Z here. Number of teeth of the gear to be checked into the, we are associated with the base circle of particular diameter, so that is into pi into the module, and which part we are associating it. For one particular moment we are associating with one particular involute profile angle, theta or the phi. So for the base tangent arc from A to B, we have to consider the arc BC also. The BC, if you extend, it will be a tangent. So this will be okay. So this is the involute profile BC. If you extend, it will be touching the base circle at this particular point E. So this will be the tangent what we get. So if you consider this triangle, so then you have the entire base tangent length from this acute angle triangle will be associated with the arc AB. So this is AB plus the angle associated with the arc BC will be equal to m times the cos phi. So because this is this thing we have calculated already, s into pi m into cos phi. So that you will be replacing here. you have to consider the concept just with respect to the movement of the just with respect to the thickness of the tooth and the involute profile, what it is been moving either clockwise or anti-clockwise. Since it is base tangent method, this profile has to be extended to the base circle. So this you will get an tangent exactly. So this entire base tangent length will be equal to arc AB plus arc BC. So this arc BC is associated with this acute angle triangle. So from this acute angle triangle, you get the value for the number of base pitches, so that you will replace here into S into pi. S is the number of teeth what we have to measure or check, into pi m cos phi, so that you will replace here. So this is only for the base tangent length, but the arc length AB can be calculated as twice the value of AB, because we arc AB will be equal to two parts. One is A to F and other one is F to B. Yes, Abhishek? So the arc length AB can be calculated as follows. So this entire arc AB will be divided into two parts, AF and FB. So arc AB will be equal to twice the arc of AF. So what you do is, so that will be equal to 2 into arc AD. So this AF is again equal to arc AD plus arc DF. Right. So then after writing this formula, you have to now come for the arc AD. So this arc AD is one segment of the entire base circle. So that angle associated with the one segment movement of the involute profile is given by one involute function phi. So if you consider this as an acute angle triangle, so then this phi will be given as tan phi minus of phi. So now you will come, so now you can write it as arc AB is equal to 2 times of arc AF, that is already been done. So in from this triangle, the arc AD will be equal to tan phi of phi, that is the angle, divided by the this distance. So you have to take the distance DO. So DO will be nothing but the radius of the base circle. So that you will write it. From this acute angle triangle ADO, we need the value of arc AD. So arc AD will be equal to the base pitch circle radius, which is R base, upon the angle tan phi minus phi. So we now got the value for the arc AD. After that, you should determine what is the value of cos phi, because here we have to replace that. So cos phi, if you consider this angle, the pressure angle COE, you will get the value of cos phi. So cos phi will be equal to the radius of the base circle upon the radius of the pitch circle. So this is the pitch circle axis, this is the base circle axis, and if you consider this as a triangle, you can replace cos phi by radius of the base circle upon the radius of the pitch circle. This can also be equal to the diameter of the base circle to the diameter of the pitch circle. So from this you have to calculate the value of the radius of the base circle. So radius of the base circle here will be equal to radius of the pitch circle times of cos phi. So cos phi value here will be given by nm by 2. Why nm by 2 comes? Because the radius of the pitch is given by the value, the number of tooth into the module divided by 2. Okay, this is not the diameter, this is the radius, and hence it becomes nm by 2. If it is a diameter, it will be just nm. Since we are taking the radial pitch, it will be nm by 2 terms of cos phi. So when you go for the arc AD, So you will replace the value here. RKD we have written, which is R times the base, that is a radial base into tan into the angle associated. So radius of the base circle will be replaced here by nm by 2 terms of cos phi. Okay, so that angle you will be writing along with cos phi. This angle you have to add up because RD is along with these two values. So first you will replace R base value by nm by 2 terms of cos phi and then write the angle associated related to our involute function. So this will be the arc AD value what we have got right now. And now we have to go for arc CG. So where is arc CG is? So this part. So now we were focusing on the base circle. Same thing we have to focus now for the pitch circle also. So this we dealt. So AD, the entire arc AB will be equal to twice of arc AF, and this arc AF is equal to arc AD plus DF. So that we are done up with now. So similarly you have to relate that for the pitch circle. So now you will consider arc CG will be equal to half 1 by 4th of the circular pitch. So entire pitch, you know, the from one gear tooth profile to the other, that is the entire P value. So if you consider one gear tooth, that will be P by 2. In that now we were, this distance is P by 2. In that again half if we take, it becomes 1/4 of it. So it is 1/4 of the circular pitch. So 1/4 of the circular pitch will be equal to 1 by 4